There are a lot of things that should be in Minecraft, and over the course of 2020, my team and I decided to add all of them to the game. My name is System Z, and today we're taking it back in a compilation of all of my favorite ideas from this past year. So sit back and relax, and let's start the show. 80% of the people watching this video are not currently subscribed, and that means that you could very well be one of them. So if you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing. It would really help my channel out. Alright, back to the video. Builders, you are about to lose your emeralds, so make sure to hold them because this is going to be incredibly revolutionary for building, especially if you like to build bridges. Now, as you can see here, we have got a sign that says better leads. I'm sure you could expect exactly what's going on here. However, this isn't any functionality I've seen yet, even through Bedrock Edition. I would love it if leads could connect two fences together so that you could actually do this, because I mean, come on, how, oh, well, I broke it. Let's try that again, shall we? There we go, fixed. This is, yeah, it's a little buggy, but that's fine. As you can see, it works so well. This would be incredibly handy. You could do so many things, and instead of having to have a whole load of fences or fence gates, you could use the imagination line to keep players from just falling off the edge. Even though it's not functional, it does look good, and I think this would be excellent. And I think I can speak for all of the builders when I say this is something we have wanted in the game for a very long time. And honestly, I don't imagine it'll take you too long to figure out exactly why this Redstone Golem is my favorite. Now, this is a very unique golem to any other golem that we currently have in the game. In fact, this could be more considered a minion. Now, let me explain why. As you can see, if we go, well, I don't have them in my inventory, but that is perfectly fine. We can grab them here. If we grab some blocks of redstone, again, each golem would be summoned using their specific ore block to summon them like you normally would a normal golem. We can go ahead and build him here. Oh my goodness, this is super exciting. Imagine being able to build loads of redstone golems, again, acting as minions. Now, to further explain, imagine that you're doing any task in survival Minecraft, like for example, chopping down a tree. Whenever you're doing this and you have a redstone golem or even multiple redstone golems, they'll also go around chopping down trees, bringing the blocks to you. This would be amazing. You could even use this to dig out very big spaces in caves, being able to mine stone, organic blocks in general like trees, dirt, and even farming. This would be a really cool way to add a redstone twist to normal farming. Imagine taking care of a large wheat field and having several redstone golems going around plucking the wheat for you. That would be very, very fun and honestly a super cool addition, bringing redstone into the mix. So, to recap, the quiver could be a new item, not only allowing us to wear it as a cosmetic, along with storing various types of arrows, keeping our inventories clean of clutter. It could also be used to attach various blocks and items to arrows, making for some interesting fun and combat. Let me know what interesting arrows you would like to see in Minecraft down in the comments below. And now for the biggest feature of the Alchemy update, the Alchemy Table.
Boo! You stink!
Imagine a new workstation that combines the magical aspects of both the brewing stand and the enchantment table to unlock new recipes for potions, enchantments, and more, allowing players to take their enchanted tools and potions one step further, using the mechanics of alchemy. So, how would the alchemy table work? It would allow players to explore the various different ideas in this video in one workstation, to keep it clear and concise. There would even be a recipe book added specifically for showing players how to make certain potions, buffs, or even different uses for the runes. And in order to even use the alchemy table, the player would need some sort of magic currency, like the current XP system, for example. All in all, the alchemy update has a lot of potential. As it currently stands, the presence of magic in Minecraft is very low, but with an update like this, players would have more opportunities to improve their gear and become the strongest player in the world. We are directly underneath a jungle right now, where as you can see, on layer 1 of the underground, the caves look a lot like the jungle. I think it would be fantastic to have caves that are specific to their above ground partner. In this case, you can see that we've got a lot of jungle related blocks as well as a completely new stone type. This is just one example at how many new blocks and items could be added to the game if we had biome specific caves. Now you can see the shiny new ore at the end of the cave as well. Now I'm going to be talking about the new ores and various different blocks a little bit later in the video, but for now, let's just admire how this looks from an aesthetic point of view. I mean, as you can see, there are so many different things to explore as far as new content, and this is only one biome. There are countless different biomes in the game, so imagine various different biomes that match those caves. Like for example, ice caves for the colder biomes of Minecraft. As you can see, this biome is incredibly different than the jungle biome in terms of contrast. I mean, the blocks alone definitely give you a different feel for the environment that you're in. And if you're strip mining, this is a great way to find the various biomes of Minecraft. Now this one is made up of sapphire, which is a new loot. Again, I'll talk about that a little bit later in the video, as well as a new block type that perhaps is coldstone, and various different snowy and ice materials. I mean, as you could see, the water is cold to the touch. Perhaps there could even be a frostbite effect that whenever you're in the correct temperature, it's going to be freezing. And unless you have an appropriate amount of gear or enchantments, it actually hurts you. This is just one way that we could dress caves up to be just a little bit more interesting. When you're exploring the overworld, it's fun because there's various biomes. Caves, however, as it currently stands, no matter where you're at, they're all just stone, granite, diorite, and andesite. Whereas with this, we'd have different blocks for each biome, and therefore different atmospheres. But this is just one example for existing biomes in the overworld. What if caves had completely original biomes? Like for example, my new favorite biome, which is heavily inspired from the glowing mushroom biome in Terraria. I love the idea of having a poisonous mushroom biome underground. And as you can see, I've actually been poisoned, and that's because these mushrooms are actually poisonous mushrooms. You can see that this biome is glowing. We've got a new light material, a shroom light there, that's actually white, so you can use it for very modern light sources. We've also got loads of new plants that actually, if you look closely, they shimmer, and I think it really brings this biome to life. We've also got shroomite, which again is very inspired from Terraria, and again, I'll talk about a little bit later in the video. But just to give you a heads up, that particular ore can be used to put potion effects on your weapons. But that's just one example at how outrageous this could get. I mean, even for building materials, this place is beautiful. And just imagine being able to actually find something like this amongst various other types of cave biomes underneath the overworld. I love this idea. We could have crystal caves, for example. Those crystals could be used to create colored lighting. All right, this next one is a little spooky. Minecraft as a game is not the most, spooky game, but this is a suggestion that would make it just a little too spooky for Z. Okay, so this, my friends, is a mob that's actually going to be coming to Realm Origins. So I'm very happy to give you a demonstration of it. Now, this isn't actually working in the game at the moment, but it is an example of a Wraith. Now, this is a ghost mob that will spawn very rarely during the night. And if we go ahead and spawn it in, as you can see, it just looks, oh gosh, absolutely terrifying and sounds horrible. This is a terrifying mob. Now, one of my favorite features of this particular mob is that if you happen to die, I really like to imagine that they would have a chance of spawning, collecting your items, and you have to fight them to get them back, which they have 12 health, so they're not really too difficult to fight, but at the end of the day, they're going to be very quick. Now, one of the best parts about this mob is that it's a lurker. It's going to follow you around as opposed to simply chasing after you. If you're looking at it, it's going to stop and kind of bob up and down, but if you move, it will follow you, being a little bit faster, being able to swoop in and attack you. This is probably one of the scariest things that I could ever imagine being in Minecraft. I mean, just imagine seeing one in the dark. Like, this is terrifying. I really don't know how I feel about this. But I'd love to let you know, or I'd love it if you let me know down in the comments below. Do you think a Wraith would be a good addition for Minecraft? Or do you think this would just be a little too scary? Alright, well, welcome, my friends, to the Void Dimension. The place all of you really, really wanted to see. But that's okay, because honestly, it's really cool, but also incredibly spooky. I mean, look at that. What's going on over there? Okay. All right, maybe we'll check that out in just a moment. For now, again, welcome to the Void Dimension, the major component to this hypothetical Void update. To start, how exactly did we get here? Well, simply put, we jumped into the Void and fell, but that's not the only way. You can also jump in the end and jump through the void in the end to get here, or you can be around bedrock in the overworld, perhaps in a beacon cave, and one of these guys, a void master, might spawn and of course chase after you and pull you in. Okay, he's really coming. all right, slow down, buddy, please don't do it. If he grabs me, he'll pull me down into the void, which, because I'm already here in the void dimension, means utter death, meaning losing all of my items if I had any. Lucky for me, I came prepared. I don't have anything. But honestly, if you're in this dimension, you're probably going to have your items on you, so how exactly are you going to avoid losing them? I mean, that's pretty much exactly the allure of the void. You're going to die and lose all of your items. Well, not exactly. The void dimension is a second chance limbo. The only escape is either to die and of course lose all of your items, or to defeat the Fallen, which of course we'll get into here in just one moment. For now, we've got more important matters to attend to, like making sure we don't get grabbed by the Void Master, which, yes, this is heavily inspired by the Handmaster from Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. The Ghast Geyser biome, a biome dedicated entirely to the magnificent yet terrifying Ghast. Now, I've gotten a lot of suggestions over the months to create a ghast hive structure. Well, we've taken it one step further and created an entire biome dedicated to ghast hives, which, as you can see, we have got all over the place. They pop up randomly and are hanging from the ceiling. Some could be attached from the side, and others could be embedded in the rock, which we'll get to here in just a moment. Taking a bit of a step back, you can see this place looks amazing. Now, small fact, I am a huge fan of Metroid, and this reminds me of Brinstar, which I think is why I love it so much. Now, we've also got a couple of different blocks as well as entities, like, for example, the geysers, which actually spawn on top of the charred rock and spew out lava. They can actually be obtained to use to spew out water or lava in the overworld as well. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a good example of that, so let me know how you think that would work down in the comments below. But also, you've got these ghast hives, which, like I said, spawn in pretty much any orientation, and they spew out baby ghast that essentially grow into normal-sized ghast. That alone looks creepy, and as you can see, it's combined with the charred rock as well as birch fences, and it looks incredibly weird. I mean, imagine seeing ghast pop out of that. It's very cool though, and I love the way it looks. My friends, grab your coat, because it's starting to get a little chilly outside, or at least it would be if seasons were in the game, but instead, we've got a biome to give us the same effect. This is a variation to the existing forest biome, much like how there's a lukewarm ocean with the ocean. This is something that I think would be amazing, and honestly, I think I speak for every Minecraft player out there who would say this is something we've been wanting for a very long time. This biome would feature coarse dirt, even pumpkin patches, and probably even dead bushes to really give it that vibe of an autumn forest. And honestly, this looks amazing. This would be a biome that I would more than likely build in every single time I played in a Minecraft world. The surrounding colors are just captivating, and imagine seeing falling leaves as well. That would be awesome. Now, I do have a challenge for you. If there was a unique mob that spawned in this biome, what do you think it would be? I am incredibly excited because today is the first day on this channel where we officially get to fight one of our new ideas, and that of course is the Trollager. But I never actually explained how exactly that ties in to the desert well. Now, we know the backstory, how about the present? Well, my friends, let's say that you're traveling in the desert and you find a desert well. Before, it would be pretty boring. I mean, sure, you could fill up a water bucket, I guess, but at the end of the day, you more than likely just skip right over the desert well. It has no functionality. Well, that, my friends, is where the Totem of Undying comes in. I think we would all agree when I say it looks like a baby villager, so that's why I chose the Totem of Undying. Simply throwing the Totem of Undying into the desert well will resurrect the baby villager in the form of the dreaded Trollager. So, without further ado, this is where the battle comes in. I'm a little scared. Throw it in, it's gonna explode after a minute. Okay, there we go. Trollager is spawned in, and as you can see, it actually functions. This guy is angry at us. Now, it has two main attacks. One, it'll jump around, and if you get far enough away, it's going to try and jump at you, and I'll show you exactly what happens when it lands on you. you get slowness, and then it actually hits you and slings you flying. It's definitely not fun. You gotta be careful. What are you doing in my swamp? One of the most anticipated features for swamps, of course, is the addition of frogs, a new mob found exclusively in the swamp biomes. And yes, I said biomes. You'll see why here in just a moment. But that being said, as you can see here, we have got a new frog entity, and yes, it's actually working. This is huge. This is the first time on this channel where we've actually been able to bring an idea to life. You can actually see we've got a frog here, and I'm incredibly proud because I animated it myself. It looks amazing. Look at it just bouncing around. We can actually spawn these guys in, though they do spawn naturally in the swamp biomes. And as you can see, they croak, they jump around, and you can actually tame them using none other than spider eyes. It makes sense, right? It's a nice little bug material. And then once you tame them, you can actually put them on your head, which I think is amazing. But there's actually some really cool functionality here. If we actually spawn in a silverfish, you can see it runs away. Basically, any bug type in Minecraft are absolutely terrified of these guys. So if you got spiders coming after you, all you gotta do is have a frog on your head. But it actually gets a little bit better than that. Or, well, I wouldn't say better. It's more of a lateral movement. This is a very nice addition to the swamps. A new biome variation to the swamp known as the Mangrove Forest, as you can see here, which I gotta say, this is an absolutely lovely biome, and the fact that it blends so nicely into the existing swamp really makes me want this. This is truly amazing, not to mention you can see a couple of frogs around, or at least you did. Rip frog friend in the chat. Alright, so as you can see, we've actually got one smaller addition here. They did talk about adding chest boats to Minecraft. So we're going to go ahead and use that to travel on over here. As you can see, we have got a chest boat. We are in action, frog left behind. But if we go over here to the center little pillar, I'm breaking all of the lily pads. I'm sorry, frog friends. You can see we've actually got a new block set. Mangrove logs, which of course can be crafted into mangrove planks. Honestly, it's not the most beautiful block, but honestly, you can use this in a lot of cool ways. I've actually been practicing with colors of blocks like this, and I've got to say, this would be a really nice block to have in Minecraft. But essentially, the mangrove trees would give you this new block type. Not to mention, perhaps there could be a new food type that drops from them as well. But this is essentially the Mangrove Forest. You could also see we've got lily pads, lily of the valley, cattails, which of course, if this were to actually be added, would be a new decoration altogether. This is just a really nice atmosphere. I mean, just take a look at how this really feels when you're swimming through it. I love this. One of these days, we'll be looking at mountains and they will be beautiful. That is, unless we are faced with a blizzard. The first idea of the video, my friends, this is what I would love to see in a mountain update. A blizzard, or should I say not be able to see, because as you can see, it is incredibly foggy. My vision is completely blocked by the snow. I'm slowed down, and if I were very unlucky, I'd even be given a blizzard effect, which would actually cause damage every few ticks, meaning you would want to have some sort of protective gear to keep you away from the chilly cold vibes of a blizzard. How you doing there, my friend? Good old Lumberjack villager, something that everybody in Minecraft wants. I mean, it just makes sense. A villager dedicated to all of the wood of the Minecraft world. Whether it be spruce wood, oak wood, birch even, you name it. Acacia, jungle, all the possibilities, even new trees. We need some sort of lumberjack villager to keep track of it all. And this is my example of that. I absolutely love this design. I think it is absolutely adorable. This works very well, and it fits the theme of Minecraft too. I don't think every single villager profession needs to be found in a village. I think it makes sense that there are other structures in the world that give off signs of villager life. And in this case, we have a cabin found exclusively in the mountain biomes, which, as you can see, if we head on in here, it's actually got a new block that goes along with the lumberjack, which of course is a sawmill. Kind of creep in this village. I hope this iron golem doesn't mind. And we're gonna check out the first villager, otherwise known as a Pyrotechnic. This is a mob that I have wanted in the game for a very long time because, simply put, this would really bring more light to the fireworks system in Minecraft. Because let's face it, right now, it can be really difficult to craft fireworks, especially considering some of the recipes require diamonds every time you want to make that specific firework. So, this would be a villager that would essentially sell different firework materials as well as even TNT. But it doesn't even stop there. As you can see here, there is even a professional block added with it, and that is the Pyrotechnic Table. And of course, that would be the block that assigns this particular villager to this profession. But not quite as amazing as a Beekeeper villager. This would be a villager dedicated to the 1.15 mechanics of bees, bee nest, honey, oh my! There are plenty of opportunities here because simply put, this would have made so much sense for 1.15. The addition of bees came with the honey block, and honey is one of the biggest redstone tools that we've seen in a very long time. Having a beekeeper associated with this part of the game would make it feel a little bit more complete, just like I was talking about in the intro of this video. Also, as a side note, he's been stung a couple times, so that's how you know he's legitimate. He's been around a lot of bees in his day. You could just see it in the stare. And that, of course, is a redstone engineer. A redstone villager dedicated entirely to the mechanics of Minecraft. From pistons, dispensers, redstone torches, you name it. Something that's been in Minecraft pretty much since the beginning. Redstone is one of, if not the biggest parts of Minecraft, right next to building. What's up, sheep? How you doing? Yeah, it's a nice mineshaft. I would agree. But without further ado, let's go ahead and check out the first variation, which is actually an underground mineshaft that is connected to a village. This would be a mineshaft that would, in all sense of the word, be peaceful. You wouldn't really have to worry about any mobs spawning down here apart from villagers, at least during the day. During night, zombies might come down here and make a new home and, you know, of course, find the food that they so long for. But as you can see, this is a really cleaned up mineshaft. We've got lanterns, we've got really nice pillars to support the structure, and we've even got a gated off area that's blocking access into the caves. Which I should also mention that there is a chance that you could find this in a cave. Essentially, this would be your guaranteed exit because every single underground mineshaft would be connected to the outside, and you could essentially either walk out or take the minecarts, which are actually activated to easily exit at your own discretion and then get caught in a loop just like this. Please help. And of course, if villagers are gonna have their own mineshaft, then you could imagine that a pillager would as well. In the base of a pillager outpost, you are almost guaranteed to find a mineshaft currently in use by pillagers. Also, what's that on my head? Don't worry, we will find out momentarily. But as you can see here, this is a slightly abandoned mineshaft, or should I say taken over mineshaft. You can see that this place is pretty much abandoned. It's covered in moss, including a new type of block known as mossy planks, which you guessed it is craftable, which adds us more mossy type variation blocks, which I think would be amazing. As a builder, I would love to see this. This would be awesome, especially for all types of planks and maybe even all types of blocks. So as you can see here, we have got a base level boat. You're definitely no stranger to this. We're all too familiar with the normal boat and all of its variants, from spruce, dark oak, to even acacia. But what we all agree on is that it's pretty boring. You can't really upgrade it from this point. But what if you could, using advancements or some other system, which I'll explain here momentarily, to actually upgrade it to add a chest with a level 2 boat. That way, when you're out on the seas, you can collect all of the treasures you want because you've got an additional method of storage. That way, when your inventory is all filled up, you are still good and clear to loot. And then, of course, the next upgrade would allow you to personalize your boat with something like a banner. Step number 1, more supplies. Simply put, we need to be able to upgrade the fishing rod to make it even better. So in an update all about fishing, this is the first step to improve fishing as a whole. The fishing rod has long since in Minecraft been boring. You craft it, throw a couple enchantments on that bad boy, and there you go. But could it be even better? Could we use diamond hooks to increase the chances of getting better loot when fishing? Or could we even use bugs? Well, it finally happened. The mob vote that the community voted into Minecraft was none other than the glow squid. So let's go ahead and walk over to my nice little pond, because this is where probably one of the coolest ideas would come in handy. Let's say that you've gone out in the world of Minecraft and you've collected yourself a precious glow squid. Oh, look at him. He's so adorable. You need water, buddy. What are you doing? Go underwater. Okay. Let's grab a fishing rod, because this is actually one of the coolest things and ways that the glow squid could actually work. So whenever there is a glow squid within a 16 block vicinity of a fishing bobber, it actually boosts the effect of lure and luck, which, as you guessed it, means more fish, more treasures in a shorter amount of time. This is awesome. I love this idea. Are you in a really dark cave and forgot your torches at home? No worries, my friend, because you can throw the glowing ink sac and create little splatters of ink everywhere. I love it. Honestly, it's great too, because it's a temporary lighting source, so that means you wouldn't have to pollute your caves and areas with torches. If you just want to see temporarily, this is a great way to do it. And it's also a good way to know exactly where you've come from, because hey, you've got splattered ink everywhere. My friends, let me introduce you to the Lumen Biome. Let's get started. Well, my friends, I say it's time we jump right into the water and get ourselves going. This is the Lumen Biome, a new biome designed entirely from scratch by my team. And as you can see, we are currently in an underwater river canal, which is how you would actually find what you are about to witness. This upcoming is the Lumen Cavern, a new biome dedicated exclusively to the glow squid. Now I'm underwater. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Welcome to the Lumen Cavern. Yeah, we can do that via editing. I really don't have to repeat myself. I don't need air. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I need it! Definitely more flying creatures would be amazing, but the Lumen Beetle is one of my favorites. And the reason why is they actually glow. As you can see here, they have an emissive texture set, which absolutely looks amazing. But it doesn't end there. They are attracted to light, and they are actually very defensive. If we hit the guy, you can see that we actually get nausea and even slowness, and they even put out particles in the process. All right, my friends, let me introduce you to Geyser, the first of the 4 bosses. Now, these particular bosses are not in any particular order. In fact, I imagine that whenever you create a new world, all 4 dungeons would appear in various different orders. It just pretty much depends on the random experience that you get whenever you create a world. That being said, this is Geyser, or Geyser Guy for fun, located in the Nether in the midst of the lava sea. Now, this guy is honestly menacing. I mean, just look at the way this guy is made. Goodness gracious, I would definitely not want to battle a mob that looks quite like this. I mean, it's made up of fire, lava, and netherrack brick, and all that good stuff, so you can imagine it's gonna burn whenever you get close. That being said, you're going to want to be very careful whenever you find this dungeon, because the dungeon is actually located on various different geysers that are propelling up netherrack rock islands, which, as you can see here, we've got an example of. We find ourselves in the middle of the ocean for the next boss, which is Cyclone, aka Deep Sea Dude, the funnest dude that you definitely do not want to be friends with. Now, the way it actually attacks you is through various different traps. It basically pulls you in slowly for one of its traps, which obviously whenever you get into the mouth, it does immense damage. But if you actually do manage to get close enough without being pulled in, you can attack the centerpiece here, which actually allows you to deal damage. If I'm being honest, this guy looks a lot like a Pokemon, but there's nothing wrong with that. This is Armor Rock, or Bouldery Boy as we like to call him, located in the Badlands within the temple grounds. Now, those of you who are a fan of my channel, you may know that I love Badlands. In fact, one of my favorite dungeon designs was my Badland Temple. Now, this particular boss would essentially roll around. In fact, it actually has a rolling state, as you can see here, which I think is just amazing. Now, the trick here is that I can actually damage terracotta by breaking it. That means you're going to have to bring various different materials to actually stop the particular guy from rolling around in order to slash away at his spikes, which, as you can see here, are basically the weak points. This is Nimbus, aka Cloud Comrade, located somewhere in the clouds, which is very mysterious. And I want you to let me know in the comments down below what you think that means. But essentially, this is a cloud-like boss that flies around. Oh, and we almost fell. It flies around in the skies, shooting gusts of wind and tornadoes, basically pushing you off any blocks that you may currently be on. Keep in mind that at this point in the game, you would not have an Elytra because obviously you would not have been able to go to the end. So that means that this boss battle is going to be very tricky because you're not going to want to fall down because obviously you'll die, which is very sad and dangerous.
Listen, System Z, if that's your real name, you insulted my mother for the last time.
I didn't do that, but all right.
Little mustache man.
Hey, that's going too far. That's going too far. That actually doesn't do much damage.
I'm just gonna slap you with my stick.
That might be more efficient, to be fair. Oh. Yeah, see, right. You made fun of the fire, but it does a lot. It does a lot, my friend. The only thing I'm not... Oh, God, that whacked a punch.
Okay, all right.
Oh, no, wait.
Joke's on you, I'm in water. Joke's on you.
Dude, the shield didn't even work. And without further ado, let's jump right on into it. Where you can see, we have essentially just gone through 3 different floors. Now, I'm going to go into creative mode so I can show you around a little bit here. I love to imagine that the jungle temple, as I said, would be made up of 3 different floors, all of which would contain a very secret lever, which, as you can see here, is revealed to be the cavity that stores the stone head. Now, once you go onto these floors, they'll actually start to circle around these paths, which you can see are kind of indented due to the slabs. Now, I honestly love how this looks, plus it would be really dangerous considering not only would you have to find each lever on each floor, you would also have to be avoiding the trap stones and of course the stone heads as they circle around. Now, there's a lot of cool opportunities for loot, obviously stored here in the pots and vases. But of course, the reason you're trying to find the levers is because it will unlock the secret vault, which, as you can see, actually has a new block type. A little bit more on that here in a moment. Imagine you're exploring the treacherous layers of the pyramid's underground dungeon when you're ambushed by mummies, a new mob found exclusively in the desert pyramid. Similar to zombies, mummies would walk slowly towards the player, but would also have the ability to release a sound that could temporarily freeze the player. That sounds absolutely terrifying, and of course, to make it worse, if you get hit by them, you'll also be given the slowness effect. And as fun as that sounds, mummies would also drop new items, amongst other silly things, like paper for example. This could be a great opportunity to drop new items that allow you to temporarily slow down enemies, or even freeze them with a magic item as a rare drop. That being said, let me know in the comments what you think mummies should drop. Additionally, desert pyramids would be filled with various new decorations, like pots for example. Scattered all around the premises of the pyramid, pots would drop loot when smashed, giving you more entities to take your anger out on. From emeralds and enchanted books to paper and string. This could be a great way to not only introduce a new decoration, which doubles as storage, but also a new form of exploration and loot gathering. Who would have ever expected there to be a diamond in one of those pots? My friends, this is probably the best outcome for what the stronghold could offer to the player. Not only do we have new decorations like pots and different vines, which you've seen in the other structure videos, so I won't go too much into detail on those, but also improvements to the entire generation, from new rooms, more loot, new decorations, and so much more. As you can see, not only have I made the pathways double wide, getting rid of that terrible iron door which always seems to cause problems with generation, I've actually expanded the design of the room, making it just a little bit taller, and honestly, it fits more of the stronghold theme. Not to mention the new loot that could come from all of the different spawning rooms. Now, this is something I firmly believe in. This is an enchanted book known as Sight of Ender, which essentially would be placed on a helmet and allow you to look straight into the soul of an Enderman and not make him angry. I think we could all agree that this would be a fantastic addition to the game, especially considering it would be entirely exclusive to the stronghold, only spawning once per structure, giving you a reason to explore each stronghold that you find. We are back in the workshop, and of course we've got to feed Dwayne the pet rock, because if we don't, he gets a little angry. That being said, we are here because of shareable item frames, an idea that I've wanted to have in Minecraft ever since Minecraft 1.16, which added the invisible tag to item frames. Unfortunately, this can only be done using commands, meaning you cannot do it in a vanilla survival world. So this is an idea that would allow us to do that. As you can see here, oh, I didn't feed him. Let me give him his rock. There you go. Well, he can't move, so there you go. As you can see here, if we go ahead and place item frames on the wall, as well as diamonds, emeralds, gold, really any item, if there is an item in there, you can actually shear it. And of course, if you pop the item out, it will reveal itself so that you don't have a whole bunch of random item frames all over the place. I think this would be an amazing feature, and I mean, just for decoration, it's amazing. Just as an example, I should have a sword in there. Let me go ahead and place an item frame on the anvil. You can really theme out areas just by using this trick. This would be awesome. And as a side note, this is a really small update that would tweak the way the Elytra works to help us get up into the air sooner. This is the idea for double jumping. As you can see here, I'm able to actually propel myself upwards by simply double jumping. And it allows you to just get just a little bit more air time to actually activate the Elytra. This would definitely save me in the end because, simply put, I would be able to avoid dying in the void. How many times have you thought you activated your Elytra, but simply put, you did not? This is definitely a really simple tweak that would be amazing. We've got enchantments for the Elytra, something that I definitely think belongs in the game. Simply put, the Elytra needs more than just mending, unbreaking, and thorns through commands. You should be able to actually apply new, unique enchantments to the Elytra. And as you can see here, we have got the Wind Catcher, we've got Collision, and of course, Soaring 1 through 4. And I bet you're wondering just what these do. Let's go ahead and jump straight to Soaring so that we can see this in action. We've got our fancy dyed red Elytra, and now I just need some fireworks. There we go. We'll act like that never happened. And as you can see, we can boost off into the sky. And yes, we have an incredible speed boost. I haven't even had to use too many fireworks, and I'm essentially able to fly without any assistance from the fireworks. Now, this is a little overpowered because, I mean, as you can see, I basically don't run out of speed, but I do imagine that this will be incredibly rarely found in the end cities, giving you a reason to explore the end. That would be really the only place to find it. It would be extremely rare at that. Well, there's not much time for this one, so we better hurry. Collision, as you can see. Oh no, let's go ahead and grab that. This one's really cool because it allows you to actually collide with mobs. Oh, well, I guess it should. All right, let's try that one more time. Head-on collision. As you can see, you could actually deal damage by flying straight into them, but not quite as handy as Wind Catcher. Well, I need some XP first. There we go. That ought to do. As you can see, we can now combine Wind Catcher with Elytra, which actually gives the wings a realistic approach. You can see that now we have slow falling, as if the wings are catching the wind underneath us to allow us to essentially negate any fall damage that we would ever get. But what about that Netherrite Elytra? That sounds pretty interesting. Well, my friends, interesting it does sound, because at the end of the day and at the end of the game, it makes sense that we can keep going and upgrading ourselves so that we can have the best suit of armor and the best gear possible. Unfortunately, the Elytra does not allow you to actually do that, because at the end of the day, you can't wear the Elytra while also wearing a chest plate. However, Mojang does not like this. They don't want this to be a feature in the game. So I have a unique take on it. This is a way that we could essentially reinforce the Elytra with a netherite ingot, giving us a beautiful netherite pair of Elytra, which looks amazing. I mean, come on. But you can see, if you're paying close attention, I was actually able to get a couple of armor points from that. You can see if you look below that it actually takes them away and goes whenever I place it on there. Now, this isn't the same amount as a normal chest plate. As you can see, we're still missing 2 armor pieces, but it's meeting halfway in the middle. I love this because this would allow us to be just a little bit stronger while also having to pay the price of Elytra. And I mean, come on, how amazing does this look? This is incredible. Well, this is boring. My friends, this was probably one of the most suggested features on my channel over the last year, and honestly, it is one of the most useful inventions that could ever be in Minecraft. That's right, everybody's favorite invention, the sleeping bag. In this case, we've got a red sleeping bag, an item that you can actually place on the ground, and we'll do so beside this nice cozy fire, and we can actually sleep. Now, the beauty here is that you're able to sleep through the night just like you would in a normal bed. However, if we die, which we could do so by jumping right in that lava over there, Geronimo, you can see that instead of respawning by the sleeping bag, we actually respawn in our normal spawn point. This is incredibly useful for those times where you might be exploring for distant structures, but don't actually want to lose your progress and where your base is located. And that, my friends, is the woodland owl, which is probably now my favorite mob that we've shown on this channel. This is the most adorable creature I have ever seen. Now, in this case, this owl is out during the daytime, but you would only ever find them at night. However, they can actually become your best friends. But can we just take a moment to appreciate just how adorable this is? I mean, look how amazing this owl looks. And just wait till you see them actually flying around. They flap their wings and it's so adorable. But that being said, we need to go grab a snack for this guy. I'm sorry to do this, rabbits, but I've got to if I can actually reach you. Oh, come on. Okay, well, that didn't work. Just one rabbit meat, please. I don't want to have to do this. This is so cruel. Only you can allow me to make a pet out. Oh, there we go. Rabbit meat. Okay, so now that we have rabbit meat, we can actually oh, well, I guess I need a little bit more. Well, you are one hungry owl, aren't you? There we go. We have now officially tamed the owl. And you can see that it actually does follow us around. And if you go too far, it will, of course, just teleport to you. So don't ever worry about losing your pet owl. First and foremost, the addition of ender rails, which is one of the coolest ideas I have ever had on this channel. And I am incredibly excited to actually have a working example here for you. Ender rails would require enderite, a new material found exclusively in the end, which is one step above that of netherite. If you've been watching for a while, then you know I have been wanting this in the game for quite a long time. But as you can see here, we are going to create a really interesting rail. We're going to take our enderite ingots, which, yes, would be in-game material. Again, this might be a little bit OP, but at the end of the day, it's going to require the most expensive object in Minecraft, which would probably even require netherite to create. But that being said, we could take these items here and craft an enderite rail, otherwise known as an ender rail, which you can place and sync together using Eyes of Ender for teleportation. Yes, that sounds crazy, but yes, it is amazing, and yes, I'm going to show you how amazing. What we can do is set up our minecart, as you can see, netherite minecart, a little bit more on that in just a moment. We are going to teleport to this platform in survival Minecraft. Yes, I know, it's crazy, but it gets even better than that. So, let's go ahead and hop on our test cart here, and go ahead, any day now, we are going to teleport, boom. Now, in an ideal world, this would actually do a little bit of damage, just like using an ender pearl in general. That way, it is a little bit more of a risk when you take it, but this is amazing. I mean, yes, this is overpowered, but keep in mind, this would be in-game material. I love this. It is amazing. It is probably one of my favorite things that I've ever seen work in Minecraft. We definitely need something like this. The end cities could use something more. They just need something, some sort of enhancement. Well, that is where the new block, the Dismantler, comes in. This is a really cool block that fits the lore of Enderman and also gives you a reason to visit the end city, apart from, of course, getting an Elytra. Now, this would be in-game material, so I think it would be perfectly fine to introduce a Dismantler. This would essentially be a decrafting block. Now, this is kind of a bad example, but if we go ahead and open this up, you can see that essentially, if we put in a block, it would decraft it. Now, obviously, you can already do that with blocks of ore, but imagine being able to do that for every other block in Minecraft. Now, this is something a lot of people have wanted for a very long time, and I can understand why it's not already in the game, but seeing as this would be in-game material, I think it would definitely be beneficial and give players all the more reason to defeat the Ender Dragon. Alright, my friends, next up, we've got an idea that, well, you know, honestly, I don't really know. I don't really know how to describe this next idea other than the fact that I want it. I want this in Minecraft so bad this is the idea of a chest pet. Now, hear me out before you go. A fun pet that allows you to pick up your items on death and also follows you around. Now, I know you might be having a hard time imagining what this might look like. Oh man, Endergy has really outdone himself with this one. But the thing is it actually will follow you around, or at least it should. It's a little stubborn at the moment. Let's try and get this going here. Come on. You can follow me now, Chest Pet. There he goes. Chest Pet is now mobile. But I imagine that this would be a pet that follows you around and gives you additional storage when you need it. I mean, why have a backpack when you could have a chest pet? Look, he's in the corner there. There's a selfie with my chest pet. And then the best part is when you die, it would collect your items and wait for you, which I think would be awesome. Well, would you look at that? You've made it to the end of not just any video, but potentially the longest video I think I've ever uploaded on my channel. I have no idea how many people could be hearing this right now. It could just be me here in editing, or it could be one other person. But if it is you, thank you so much, because you are the reason I'm able to do what I do for a living, and it's a dream come true. Every day is a dream come true, and I'm very, very grateful and appreciative for everything that all of you have done for me, but especially you, viewer, who's at the end of this very long video. But anyways, that is gonna do it. 2020 was an insane year. I'm excited for 2021. Hopefully it's better, but also there was a lot of good that did happen in 2020. I hit 600,000 subscribers, which is great. Hopefully 1 million will come next year. That's the big goal. But yeah, a lot of awesome stuff, projects, really interesting video collaborations, and just a lot of interesting developments, I guess. But anyways, that's gonna do it for today's video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a thumbs up. Consider subscribing, although I have a feeling you already are if you've watched this long. And let me know which video was your favorite of the year. That would mean a lot to me. But yeah, that's gonna do it. My name has been System Z, and this time, for real, you and only you are awesome. Thank you so much for watching.